We're having a great time today talking to entrepreneurs. This is Jeffrey Davis. Our next guest is Peter Myerson from the law firm of Cohan, Rasnick, Myerson, and Plaut. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Jeffrey. It's great to be here again.
Thank you. What's the big story we're going to talk about today, Peter?
You know, my topic today is about fiduciary duties, which isn't too far off from, some of the NFL issues that are going to come up.
Well, that's like the owner-to-owner responsibilities.
It's the owner-to-owner responsibilities. So my topic today is really related to the same kinds of topics that I've been talking about, which is the fiduciary duties of shareholders to each other and the fiduciary duties of lawyers to their clients. And, this segment should really appeal to people who have partners, who are thinking about an exit strategy, who are doing all those kinds of things that people who have established businesses, need to think about for the future. And interestingly enough, this is a case, Jeffrey, that you were involved in, and my partner, Bob Cohan, tried. And, it's the case of Cellmark versus Ehrlich, which I'll give you the facts really quickly. There were two corporations, one called Marathon, which this fellow named Ehrlich worked for, and another company named Cellmark Associates, and they both sold electronics products as reps for large electronic product manufacturers. And the owner of Marathon was looking for an exit, and he worked out a deal with everybody, including Cellmark and Ehrlich. Cellmark was a competitor to Marathon. So Cellmark was going to buy 55% of the Marathon stock over time, and Ehrlich was going to buy 45% of the stock over time. And when the deal was finished and the owner of Marathon was bought out, this guy Ehrlich, who we represented, was to have an option to exchange his shares in Marathon for a smaller number of shares of Cellmark. So Cellmark was obviously a very successful business in and of itself. And, what happened is that Ehrlich got a 2-year employment contract when the deal was signed, which was around 2001. And he just continued working, and the period of time for the employment contract expired, and around 2007 or 8, the president of Cellmark fired Ehrlich without cause, and Ehrlich went to a meeting. The president of Cellmark basically said, I'm terminating the relationship and you're gone. And what happened, and what for me was a very interesting situation, is Ehrlich leaves. The parties go through a lot of struggle over, should Ehrlich sell back his shares to Cellmark? There's an offer, and I'm skipping a lot of the facts. But the important issue for me, in the fiduciary space, is Ehrlich decides to keep his stock, and he then, because he's unemployed, goes and works for another competitor. And, he solicits accounts that had belonged to Marathon and Cellmark. But bear in mind, he doesn't do this until after he's fired. And so at a certain point in time, some of these accounts decide to change their allegiance and leave Cellmark and Marathon. And Cellmark sues Ehrlich for breach of his fiduciary duties.
Peter, if someone wants to know more about the rules around fiduciary responsibility, how would they find you?
They can find me on my website, which is www.crmllp.com, or they can call me on my direct dial, which is 617-742-2255.